Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
What separates successful people from everyone else? It's not intelligence, not opportunity, and not luck. The real difference comes down to one simple principle. They get up and get it done. Think about this. What time did you get up this morning? And more importantly, what did you do with those first precious minutes of your day? The way you start your morning often decides how you'll live your entire life. Now here's the truth. Most people wake up just in time to rush around, grab a quick coffee, and dash out the door. But extraordinary people? They rise with purpose, with intention, with a plan for progress. I learned this lesson early from my mentor, Mr. Schoaf. He told me, "Jim, if you want to be successful, you must change." I asked, "Change what?" He said, "Everything. It's not what happens that shapes your future. It's what you do about what happens. Don't say, 'Someday I'll make that call.' Say, 'Today I will make that call.' Don't say, 'Someday I'll start saving.' Say, 'Today I begin.' Replace vague intentions with clear actions tied to specific days. Remember, life isn't a rehearsal. You don't get another run-through. This is the real performance, and it demands that you get up and get it done today. Now let's talk about time. Every single one of us has the same 24 hours in a day, whether it's a janitor or a CEO, a student or a professor. The difference in results comes from what we do with those hours. Here's a startling truth. When you waste an hour, you're not just losing time. You're losing a piece of your life. That hour will never come back. People often tell me they don't have enough time, and I ask, how much television did you watch last week? The average American watches over 28 hours a week. That's more than a full day. If you live to be 75, that's more than 9 years of your life spent in front of a screen. 9 years. I'm not saying you should never watch TV. I'm saying you must be conscious of how you spend your time. Time is the true currency of life, and how you use it is how you shape your future. So here's the second principle of getting up and getting it done. Invest your time, don't just spend it. When you invest, you gain a return. When you spend, it's gone forever. So each morning ask yourself, what's the most valuable use of my time today? Not what's urgent, not what's easy, but what's valuable. Ask yourself, what will move me closer to my goals? What choices will create the life I truly want? Successful people have mastered this. They get up early while others sleep. They work when others play. They study while others waste time. They live with discipline today so they can live with freedom tomorrow. But knowing what to do isn't enough. We all know what to do. The difference is discipline, the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Motivation may spark the start, habit keeps you going, but discipline is what builds those habits. I once met a young man determined to be financially successful. He shared his big dreams and detailed plans, impressive on paper. 6 months later, I asked him how he was doing. Not so good, he admitted. A year later, same answer. Another year, still trying to get started. Finally, I told him, the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. It's that you're not doing what you know. He was waiting to feel ready, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for motivation. But here's the truth. You don't act because you feel motivated. You feel motivated because you act. That brings us to the third principle of getting up and getting it done. Discipline yourself so you won't have to be disciplined by others. You either discipline yourself to do what's necessary, or someone else will do it for you. Either way, there will be discipline. But remember this, the pain of discipline is always less than the pain of regret. Always. The discipline of saving a little money each month is far easier than facing retirement with nothing. The discipline of daily exercise is far lighter than the regret of poor health later in life. So don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for greater skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. Now let's talk about action. Most people spend their lives preparing to take action. They're always getting ready to get ready. Always planning to plan. Always rearranging their desks one more time before making that call. But success doesn't come from preparation alone. It comes from consistent, purposeful action. I call the gap between knowing and doing the failure gap. People don't fail because they lack knowledge. They fail because they don't act on what they already know. The fourth principle of getting up and getting it done is this. Don't just learn. Do it. Knowledge without action is wasted, like owning a powerful car but never turning the key. I remember when I first discovered books on success and personal development. I devoured them, went to every seminar I could, but my life wasn't changing. Then it struck me. I had become a professional student. I was learning but not applying. That day, I made a commitment. For every book I read, I would implement at least one idea. For every seminar I attended, I would practice at least one strategy. That decision changed everything. Don't just collect information, apply it. Don't just hear good advice, live it. The world is full of people who know what to do, but the world rewards those who actually do it. So where do you begin? Let me share one of the most powerful secrets I've ever learned. Start with something small, something simple, something you can actually accomplish today. Most people overestimate what they can do in a single day, but underestimate what they can achieve in a year. They try to change everything at once, get overwhelmed, and give up. Don't make that mistake. The fifth principle of getting up and getting it done is this: start small, but start now. Don't wait until everything is perfectly aligned, because it never will be. I remember speaking with a woman who dreamed of writing a book. She'd been holding on to that dream for more than 10 years, yet she hadn't written a single page. She told me she was waiting until she had the time to do it right. I suggested she try writing just 1 page a day. At first, she resisted. 1 page won't make a difference, she said. I asked her, how many pages would you have if you'd done that every day for the past 10 years? The answer stunned her. Over 3,600 pages. The lesson is simple. Motion creates emotion, and action comes before motivation. Once you begin, the path forward becomes clear. But starting is only half the battle. Finishing is where the real magic lies. Anyone can start a project, but how many finish? I've seen people launch businesses, diets, workout programs, or savings plans, only to abandon them when the excitement fades. The sixth principle of getting up and getting it done is to master the art of finishing. Don't just be a starter, be a finisher. Finishers know the truth. Success isn't about a burst of intensity. It's about steady consistency. It's not working hard for a few days. It's working steadily over time. Every project or goal goes through a predictable cycle. First comes excitement. Everything feels fresh and inspiring. Then comes the grind, the daily effort when no one is watching or cheering. This is where most people quit. But if you keep going, you'll eventually reach breakthrough. The results, the rewards, the recognition. The grind is where character is forged. It's where discipline is tested, and it's where champions are made. So when you feel like giving up, remind yourself why you began. When the work feels heavy, focus on your vision. And when progress seems painfully slow, remember this: water doesn't cut through rock with sheer force. It does it with steady persistence. Now let's talk about accountability. Who holds you accountable? Who asks you the tough questions and checks whether you're following through? If the answer is no one, then you're at a serious disadvantage. Every one of us needs accountability. Someone who expects us to keep the promises we make, especially the ones we make to ourselves. The seventh principle of getting up and getting it done is to create accountability in your life. Tell someone your goals. Set deadlines. Make commitments not only to yourself, but to others. When I was starting my business, I scheduled meetings with potential clients before I felt ready. Why? Because having those appointments on my calendar forced me to prepare. I couldn't push it off. There was a time, a place, and a person waiting for me. Find an accountability partner, join a mastermind group, or hire a coach. Do whatever it takes to add external accountability to your journey. Because left alone, most of us will choose comfort over growth, the easy over the necessary. Remember, accountability isn't about finding someone to blame when things go wrong. It's about having someone who helps you prevent things from going wrong in the first place. There's something many people overlook: your environment. By environment, I don't just mean where you live. It's the places you spend time, the people you associate with, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in. Your environment shapes you constantly, often without you realizing it. The books on your shelf, the friends in your phone, the pictures on your wall, even the content in your social media feed. All of these are either pulling you closer to your goals or pushing you further away. The eighth principle of getting up and getting it done is to design your environment to support your goals. If you want to get fit, place your running shoes by the door. If you want to read more, keep books on your bedside table instead of your phone. If you want to save money, automated so you never see the money in the first place. But the most powerful part of your environment is people. You inevitably become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their habits, attitudes, health, and even income will rub off on you. So ask yourself, who are your 5? Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they doers or excuse makers? You can't soar with the eagles if you're scratching with the turkeys. Sometimes, the hardest step to getting things done is distancing yourself from those who never get up and never follow through. Now let's talk about urgency. Not panic, not anxiety, but a healthy sense of urgency. Too many people act as though they have unlimited time. They delay, they procrastinate, they push off until tomorrow what should be done today. But successful people live differently. They operate with urgency. The 9th principle of getting up and getting it done is to develop that urgency. Start now, not next Monday, not next month, not next year. I often ask people in my seminars, when should you start saving money? Most say, as soon as possible. The real answer? The day you receive your very first paycheck. When should you start that business? Today. When should you have that tough conversation? Today. When should you begin exercising? Today. Urgency is about awareness. Knowing that this moment matters, that today counts. Life isn't a dress rehearsal. This is the real performance. I once spoke with an elderly gentleman who told me his greatest regrets weren't the things he did, but the things he didn't do. The risks he never took, the calls he never made, the opportunities he let slip by. Don't let that be your story. Live with urgency. Approach each day as if it were your last, because one day, you'll be right. Now let's be realistic. When you decide to get up and get it done, you will face obstacles. You'll encounter resistance. You'll meet with difficulties. Some might say, Jim, that doesn't sound motivational. But actually it is. Because when you expect obstacles, you're not caught off guard. When you anticipate resistance, you can prepare for it. The 10th principle of getting up and getting it done is this. Expect obstacles and plan for them. Don't be surprised by problems. Be surprised when there aren't any. Too many people quit at the very first sign of trouble. They say, I tried, but it didn't work. What they really mean is, I tried once, met resistance, and gave up. Successful people know obstacles aren't meant to stop you. They're meant to test you. They're not there to block your path, but to measure how badly you want your goal. So when you face challenges, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger, wiser, and better through this? Every successful person I've ever met has faced major obstacles on their journey. The difference is, they didn't let those challenges define them or deter them. They used them as stepping stones, building blocks on the way to success. Let me share one of the most powerful concepts I've ever learned, the compound effect. This principle shows that small, consistent actions, repeated daily, create extraordinary results. Most people overestimate what they can do in a single day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They wait for the big break, the quantum leap, the overnight success. But that's not how true success is built. The 11th principle of getting up and getting it done is to trust the compound effect. Small daily improvements lead to massive long-term results. If you improve just 1% every day for a year, by the end you'll be 37 times better, not just 365% better, but over 3,700% better. That's the power of compounding. But it also works in reverse. Decline by just 1% a day for a year, and you'll end up nearly 97% worse off. Small negative actions, repeated daily, eventually create disaster. The challenge is that the compound effect works so gradually it's easy to miss. You won't see big changes right away, and that's why so many people quit. They assume what they're doing isn't working. But if you trust the process, stay consistent, and keep taking those small daily steps, you'll eventually hit a tipping point where the results become obvious and dramatic. Now, while action is critical, there's another element just as important, reflection. You must regularly review your progress, evaluate your results, and adjust your approach. The 12th principle of getting up and getting it done is to schedule time for review and reflection. It's not just about constant action. It's about thoughtful action, guided by awareness. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I accomplish? What did I learn? What could I have done better? At the end of each week, reflect again. Am I still on track with my goals? Do I need to adjust my approach? Without reflection, you may be working hard, but heading in the wrong direction. You may be busy, but not productive. You may be active, but not effective. That's why I recommend setting aside time daily, weekly, monthly, and even quarterly for review. It doesn't have to be long. Even 10 minutes of thoughtful reflection can produce powerful insights. Remember, the goal isn't to stay busy. The goal is to make real progress toward what matters most. Now let's talk about something many driven people overlook: celebration. When you accomplish something, reach a milestone, or simply make progress, take the time to celebrate it. The 13th principle of getting up and getting it done is to celebrate your wins, both big and small. Acknowledge your growth, recognize your progress. Too often, we achieve something meaningful and immediately rush to the next challenge without pausing to appreciate the victory. This is a mistake. Celebration isn't just about feeling good, though that matters. Celebration reinforces the behaviors that led to success. It tells your brain, this is working, do more of it. So when you hit a target, reach a goal, or make significant progress, pause and acknowledge it. Share it with someone, write it in a victory journal, or give yourself a small reward. It's not about complacency. It's about fueling motivation for the journey ahead. One of the greatest enemies of getting up and getting it done is comfort. Human nature pulls us toward what's safe, familiar, and easy. But real growth happens outside the comfort zone. The 14th principle is to learn to be comfortable with discomfort. Welcome the unfamiliar, embrace challenges, and accept the temporary unease of discipline, hard work, and even failure. Why? Because the discomfort is temporary, but the rewards are lasting. The achievement is lasting, but the pain of discipline is only temporary. On the other hand, the pain of regret can follow you for a lifetime. I often remind people, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. The real question isn't whether you'll experience discomfort. The real question is, which discomfort will you choose? The short-term sting of discipline or the heavy burden of regret? Now let's talk about motivation. Many people say, I'm just not motivated to get up and get it done. They wait for motivation before taking action. But here's the truth. Motivation isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. And you create it through action. The 15th principle of getting up and getting it done is this: don't wait for motivation, generate it by moving forward. Act your way into feeling, rather than waiting to feel your way into action. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how once you start a workout, a writing session, or even cleaning your home, it suddenly feels easier to keep going? That's because action creates momentum, and momentum fuels motivation. If you wait until you feel motivated before starting, you've got it backward. Start first, even when you don't feel like it, and the motivation will catch up. This is why routines and habits are so powerful. They bypass the need for motivation altogether. You don't brush your teeth every night because you're motivated. You do it because it's a habit, something automatic that requires no thought. The key to getting up and getting it done isn't relying on bursts of motivation. It's building systems and habits that make action natural. Now let me ask you, what do you say to yourself when no one else is listening? What is that constant inner conversation shaping your actions? Your self-talk has a profound influence on your ability to get things done. It can lift you up or drag you down, fuel your energy or drain it, push you toward action or paralyze you with doubt. The 16th principle of getting up and getting it done is this: monitor and manage your self-talk. Speak to yourself with encouragement, not discouragement. When you face a challenge, do you say, I can't do this, or how can I do this? When you make a mistake, do you label yourself a failure, or do you see it as a valuable lesson? And when you look at a big goal, do you say, that's impossible, or that's interesting? I wonder how I could make it happen. The words you speak to yourself matter. They shape your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions ultimately shape your results. That inner voice is always speaking, so start paying attention to what it's saying. When it whispers doubt, fear, or limitation, gently correct it. Replace I can't with how can I. Replace this is too hard with this is challenging, but I'm growing. Replace I don't have time with this isn't a priority for me right now. Remember, your mind believes what you tell it. So tell it something empowering, encouraging, and action-oriented. Now let's talk about decisions. Every day, you make hundreds of them. What to eat, what to wear, what to say, what to do. Most happen automatically, but the bigger decisions require conscious thought. The 17th principle of getting up and getting it done is this: make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Too many people fall into analysis paralysis. They collect endless information, weigh pros and cons over and over, and wait for the perfect moment. But perfect decisions don't exist. There will always be uncertainty, unknowns, and risks. A good decision made now is always better than a perfect decision made too late. The most successful people aren't always the ones making perfect decisions. They're the ones who decide promptly and then commit to making those decisions work. They don't waffle, second guess, or waste time looking back with regret. They decide, commit, and move forward. This doesn't mean being reckless or impulsive. It means gathering enough information, weighing your options, making the call, and then putting your energy into execution instead of endless second guessing. Now let's talk about something vital that's often overlooked: energy management. Most people obsess over time management, but energy is just as critical. You can have all the hours in the world, but without energy, you won't accomplish much. The 18th principle of getting up and getting it done is to manage your energy, not just your time. Identify when you feel most energized and schedule your most important tasks for those periods. Are you sharpest in the morning? Use that time for your hardest work. More focused at night? Save your creative or analytical tasks for then. Also, pay attention to what fuels you and what drains you. Certain people, environments, activities, and even foods can either lift your energy or deplete it. Exercise, quality sleep, proper nutrition, and engaging activities are some of the most reliable energy boosters. Remember, productivity isn't about working more hours. It's about working the right hours, when your energy is high, your focus is sharp, and your performance is at its best. Now let's address a challenge that's stealing productivity from millions: technology distractions. The average person checks their phone nearly 100 times a day, about once every 10 minutes. The 19th principle of getting up and getting it done is to control your technology, not let it control you. Use it as a tool, not a constant distraction. How many times have you picked up your phone with a purpose, only to find yourself scrolling through social media half an hour later, forgetting why you picked it up in the first place? How often do you check emails, messages, or notifications when you should be focused on meaningful work? These digital distractions steal your time, fragment your attention, and keep you stuck in constant reactivity instead of proactive creation. They prevent you from doing the deep, valuable work that truly moves you forward. Here's a simple fix. When working on something important, put your phone in another room. Turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer. Create an environment that supports focus, not distraction. Remember, technology is meant to serve you, not enslave you. It should be a tool for productivity, not a barrier to it. Now, let's talk about the incredible power of focus. In today's world of endless interruptions, the ability to give full attention to one task has become both rare and incredibly valuable. The 20th principle of getting up and getting it done is to master the habit of single tasking, not multitasking. Give one task your complete attention. Despite popular belief, multitasking is a myth. Your brain can't truly focus on two things at once. It only switches back and forth, lowering your effectiveness on both. Studies show that after an interruption, it can take an average of 23 minutes to return to the same level of focus. And often, one distraction spirals into a chain that can waste hours. Instead of spreading your attention thin, try doing one thing with deep, undivided focus. You'll be amazed at how much faster, smoother, and better your results become. Think about how much more you could accomplish and how much better your work would be if you focus deeply on one task. But there's another challenge that holds many people back: perfectionism. The pursuit of perfection often leads to procrastination, anxiety, and inaction. The 21st principle of getting up and getting it done is simple: aim for progress, not perfection. Done is better than perfect. I've seen countless talented people who never share their work, never launch their business, never publish their book, because they're waiting for everything to be flawless. The truth is, it never will be. The world doesn't reward perfection, it rewards execution. It's better to release something good today than to hold it back forever waiting for perfection. Now, this doesn't mean doing sloppy work. It means recognizing when something is good enough to launch, share, or publish, and then improving it based on real-world feedback. Some of the most successful companies thrive on this principle. They release products that are far from perfect, then refine and improve as they go, guided by the response of real users. So, ask yourself, what are you holding back because it's not perfect yet? What project are you delaying because conditions aren't ideal? What action are you postponing until you feel more confident? Whatever it is, remember this: progress always beats perfection. Now let's move to one of the most powerful forces in the universe: momentum. Once you get something moving, it's far easier to keep it moving than to start from a standstill. Getting started from a standstill is always the hardest part. That's why the 20-second principle of getting up and getting it done is this: create and maintain momentum. Start small, but start now, and then keep going. Have you ever noticed that the toughest part of exercise is simply getting to the gym? Yet once you're there, once you begin moving, it suddenly feels easier. The same rule applies to every important goal or task. The key is to take one small action, then another, and then another. Each step builds momentum, and momentum makes the next step easier. This is why many successful people set process goals instead of outcome goals. Instead of saying, "I'm going to lose 30 pounds," they say, "I'll exercise for 30 minutes every day." The process itself creates momentum, and momentum eventually delivers the outcome. But momentum works in both directions. Positive momentum pulls you forward, while negative momentum, procrastination, excuses, delays, pulls you backward. That's why taking action today matters so much. Every day you put it off, the harder tomorrow becomes. Each excuse makes the next one easier. Each delay makes the next postponement more likely. So whatever you've been putting off, whatever goal you've avoided, take one small step toward it today. Create that momentum, get the ball rolling, and watch how much easier the next step becomes. Now, let's face one of the greatest barriers to getting up and getting it done: fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of the unknown. The 23rd principle is this: acknowledge your fears, but never let them stop you. Feel the fear, and do it anyway. Here's the truth about fear: everyone experiences it. Even the most confident and successful people you admire still feel fear. The difference is, they don't allow fear to make their decisions for them. I often ask people, what would you do if you weren't afraid? The answers are revealing. Start a business, ask for a promotion, write a book, speak in public, confess their feelings. Fear holds countless people back from becoming who they're meant to be. But here's the secret: courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. True courage is feeling the fear and taking action anyway. It's standing up, moving forward, and getting it done even when you're afraid. And here's something powerful about fear: it shrinks with action. The more you face it, the weaker it becomes. The first public speech might feel terrifying. The 10th is simply challenging, and by the 100th, it can actually be enjoyable. So ask yourself, what fear is holding you back? Name it, acknowledge it, and then take one small step today in spite of it. Remember, the antidote to fear isn't more information, more preparation, or even more confidence. The antidote to fear is action. Now let's turn to something even deeper: your identity, who you believe yourself to be. Your identity shapes your actions more strongly than almost anything else. That's why the 24th principle of getting up and getting it done is this: shape your identity through your choices and actions. Become the kind of person who consistently takes action. Too often, people try to change their behavior without changing their identity. They say, "I'm going to exercise more," but still see themselves as someone who hates working out. They say, "I'll save money," yet still think of themselves as a spender, not a saver. This creates a tug-of-war inside. You're trying to move in one direction, while your identity pulls you back in another. The key is to build identity-based habits instead of outcome-based habits. Don't just say, "I want to write a book." Say, "I am a writer." Don't just say, "I want to get in shape." Say, "I am someone who takes care of my health." When your identity shifts, your actions naturally follow. When your identity shifts, the right actions begin to flow naturally. If you see yourself as someone who gets things done, you'll take action almost automatically. If you identify as disciplined, you'll behave in disciplined ways with far less internal resistance. So ask yourself, who do I need to become to achieve my goals? How would that person think, decide, and act each day? Then start aligning your actions, no matter how small, with that identity. Each step reinforces who you are becoming, And the stronger that identity grows, the easier the next step becomes. Now let's talk about resources. Many people say, I'd get up and get it done if only I had more money, more time, more education, more connections. But the 25th principle of getting up and getting it done is this. Focus on being resourceful, not on having resources. Resources are limited. Resourcefulness is limitless. Resources can be taken away, but your creativity, problem solving, and determination cannot. Some of the world's most successful businesses began with almost nothing in hand. What they did have was resourcefulness, the ability to solve problems, find new paths, and maximize whatever was available. So, remember this. Your identity and your resourcefulness will carry you further than any amount of resources ever could. Wishing you health, happiness, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.